Right, we have picked our first official car up, our first proper load, even though it's a van, it's not a car. Look at that, boom. 15 Transit Connect, broken down. The ignition comes on, but it doesn't start, doesn't even attempt to start. No crank, no start. All the lights came on. He said there was no power, it wouldn't take the throttle. He turned it back off, and when he turned it back off, it wouldn't start again. He tried to bump start it, that wouldn't work. So we've collected it, we've recovered it, and we've now got to fix it. Sorted. Right, so we plugged it in. No ignition lights coming up now, look, just the airbag light. Plugged it in, I've got a few error codes. Oh look, oh, a mobilizer light flashing. God damn, speak Leon. So, I'm wondering, well, I don't know, problem is, could be loads of things. Oh, I've just ripped all that down. Fucking knee. Stupid Transit Connects. Nothing I can see that kind of looks... well, I say that. That alternator doesn't look great. It's quite bad. Is that wire broke? Oh, that's all. Oh, look at that. Can't see, but that doesn't look great. But I think I can see all the wire, the plastic, you know, the coating of the wire gone. Alright, let's see what it says on the computer. Fingers are covered in crap now. Right, so just go into 4 faults apparently. Wondering if the alternator is not charging now. That wire doesn't look great. I'll have to clean it all and see properly, but it doesn't look great. It's taking its time. Now, even taking its time, this is suggesting to me battery related issues. The fact that it's taking so long to connect. The fact that I've got no ignition lights now. I've got something. Read, receive. Yeah, it's taking a while. Got an idea. See, I've got my breakout box. System low voltage, okay. Engine performance, missing our immobilizer. But again, low volt, that could all be, all that problem could be low voltage. Let me see, I've got my breakout box. So I got my breakout box with me, got this from Ryan's Automotive, they're in Ireland, I'll leave a link down below. But what I like about this one is it tells you, look at that. Wow. Yeah, and it's flashing. So 7.1 volts, that's the frame rate of the camera, but believe me, it's not flashing in real life. 7.1 volts. Let me put a jump pack on this and see what happens. Right, jump pack is on. Hope it's on good enough. See what happens with the ignition lights now. Oh, still haven't got any lights. Okay. Hold on, we've still got 7.3 volts. That's not on properly. My jump pack's down on power. Only got 10.4 volts. It's not going to work. But we've got ignition lights, look. So that's something. Let me just see if it does start. Well, there we go. Well, there we go. And we're only at 9.5 volts. So it's not charging. But is it not charging because we've got a wiring issue? Or is it not charging because we've got an alternator issue? Or both? Remember the day of the diesels where as long as you got it started, it would keep driving no matter what? And now, because of all the computers, as soon as I took off the jump pack, it went completely dead. It just stopped. So I've just sprayed a load of brake cleaner down there just to try and clean it up so I can see what's going on. I'm just going to unclip that because I can't tell if the wire is damaged. I just can't see anything. It looks really bad, but it could just be all the oil that's around it. Then we've got to figure out, is it an alternator or wiring, but also where's all this oil coming from leaking onto this, which is also causing problems. And it's coming from, I can't quite tell at the minute, but yeah. Right, what do we know so far? Well, we now know, can we get down there, that wire is good. It was the actual, all the kind of, you can see it just dangling down there, you can see all that kind of tape and stuff. It looked like when it was covered in oil that it was actually ripped all the plastic away for the, you know, the coating, the rubber coating, but it hasn't. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure the wiring is okay. We know that the computer and that side of stuff is okay, because when I put the jump pack on, it did register on the OBD2 plug, so I know that that wiring is okay. I just don't know, is it the alternator or is it the wiring? So in other words, it could be kicking out, you know, 13, 14 and a half volts, what these normally, or close to 15 volts, some of these kick out, but it could be the wire that's broke somewhere and it's not getting back to the battery. So I'm going to start it again and just, I'm not going to be able to film, but I've just taken off the cap. Where is it? Just there. You see it's there, and then I'm just going to put my multimeter to it and see if I'm getting power coming out of there. If it's the same as what the battery was reading, then I know it's an alternator issue. We got this bad boy on it now, the one that's actually charged, working lovely. So I'm just going to start this now and I'm going to see if we can. Will it start? It starts. I cannot disconnect it because it will cut out. So what I want to see, if I get this on here, well, look at that. See, it's charging. This is why you have to be careful. Well, actually, no, sorry, no. I have to be careful now because the jump pack is on it. Yeah, that's the jump pack voltage. I don't know how I'm going to do this because as soon as I take that off, it's going to die. I've got an idea. I'm going to let the jump pack charge the battery for a few minutes, then I'm going to try it. I'm going to let this charge for a few minutes, but I was thinking about it just as I switched it off. The wiring is okay. Think about it. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be getting the jump pack voltage down here, would I? So that means I'd be charging the battery. It would physically start, but it wouldn't come back to the alternator. So that tells me, if you think about it logically, I'm going to test it just to be on the safe side, but that tells me that the wiring is okay. It's the alternator. So we're just going to let that battery charge up and then I'm going to try it. You have to be quick. Disconnect, put it down on here, put it down on here. Yeah, look, going down, going down, going down, going down. Oh, I'm not on it now. Going down, yeah. Alternator, new fan belts, and possibly a new battery. I'll have to see how old that one is. The battery is just on the safe side, you know, it's just kind of I'm not saying it needs one, but be no harm, especially if that's, you know, 5-6 years old. Right, so there's a couple of things to be careful of, just like when I put the jump pack on. Remember, we saw voltage there. Now that very nearly caught me out, but lucky enough I realized the jump pack was on. Also, yes, this is a smart alternator. I didn't really mention that, and we do have fuses here. Now I knew, cause I knew if I didn't take this off, I knew people, oh, you wasn't 100% sure because you didn't check the fuses. Well, I knew as soon as I put the jump pack on here and I got the voltage down to there, I knew them fuses have to be okay. Think about it, it has to be okay. And the smart charging system, yes, that could be a problem. You can always disconnect the signal wire and see if it charges, because then, you know, you can have an issue with, you know, the sensor rather than the alternator. But when I put the jump pack on and when I took it off, the voltage was going down. It didn't do anything. So I know it's the alternator. I want to get a video where I can really start diagnosing the wiring issue on a smart alternator, so I can show you what to do. Hobby Tools also sent me that, and I did a video on it, the little thing they've got when you drive it down the road to test it. But unfortunately I just can't do it in this case because it's just not kicking out any voltage at all, like nothing. It's just it's going dead, so I can't do that. I have to get it charging, and in this particular case it's the alternator. But when I get a really good one wiring issue with, or not even so much a wiring issue, but a good one where it looks like it's the alternator but it's the smart charging system, I'll obviously go a lot more in depth into the smart charging system. But it was very easy with the jump pack and stuff, how you can tell quite quickly that there's no issue with the fuse, there's no issue with the wiring because the voltage got here, there's no issue with the earth again because the voltage got there. So you can see how quick, just even with a jump pack, how I can eliminate a good few things without really having to check them, because the power goes through. If this fuse was gone, the power wouldn't be able to go through to there, same as it wouldn't be able to get back to here. So if the fuse is gone, you know, the alternator is working, but it can't charge the battery. But I knew very quickly that that wasn't the case in this particular case. And unfortunately I did get a really good one once. It was a Peugeot, with same engine as this, but not in a Ford, in a Peugeot. And I couldn't film it because I did it for a main dealer, and they basically said I'm not allowed to film there. But anyway, so you can, you know, depend on the car, you can disconnect the signal wire, and that can sometimes make the alternator charge, which then can kind of tell you if it's an alternator or if it's a smart charging issue. But in the case of the Peugeot, it took me a while. They couldn't figure it out either, but eventually we got it figured out. It essentially was, it needed updating. So the alternator wouldn't charge. It was like this, it wouldn't charge. We unplugged the signal wire, it started charging. I went through everything, I couldn't find any faults anywhere, and then when we updated the car, it worked. So that's not this case. This was a completely different case to this, but unfortunately I couldn't film it because they didn't allow me to do it, because the main dealers that I work for, they don't allow me to film it. None of them do. But anyway, in this case it is an alternator. Like, we have the parts, brand spanking new alternator and a new fan belt. I'm not going to be able to show you any of it because it's just too awkward. And let's put it all in and see if I was right. First thing you want to do, just to make your life easier, you can see I've released the tension off the fan belt, so the fan belt's now loose. 15mm spanner, get it on that little ear there, pull it back, put the pin in, that will set it so it's fully loose. So it's going to be really easy to take on and off the fan belt. First thing to do, disconnect the battery, make sure that's done, then you can disconnect all the pipes. And it's 4 16mm bolts. You can just see them, they're kind of right beside the DPF filter. They are a bit awkward, just in there, but you can get them with spanners. The alternator's out, you have to take off the tension, but I'll show you that in a second. But as regards the bolts near the DPF, all you've got to do is loosen them 3 or 4 turns, take the front ones completely off, and then the alternator slides out at an angle. I can't show you because there's just no room. We have to now completely take these out and put them on the new one. But yeah, 3 or 4 turns on the back ones, the front one's completely out, and it comes out at an angle. Right, I'm going to try and film this, but it's very difficult because I've got no room. I've got the alternator in, but basically what you have to do, now I've got it in, I'm most probably not going to be able to do this one-handed. I can't get it out now. I tried. You put it in at an angle, so you come in this way at an angle, and then you slide the alternator around like that. But if you can't get it in, you haven't got these loosened enough, so just loosen them a little bit more.
I tried to do it, but I couldn't do it one-handed, unfortunately.
That's what she said, but ladies, I can't do it one-handed. Right, I'll be truthful. It's not because it's big or anything. It's because I need to lift up the roll of fat first with the other hand. Do you know what the really funny thing is now? You're picturing that and you're not going to be able to get it out your head for a long, long time. Yeah. Naughty.
I mean, whoever thought of it was a genius idea. As the bolt goes in, it opens out that big washer, and that's what clamps it in. Genius. But yet then the top bolt, which I'm going to show you in a second, is absolutely stupid. So pure genius and then pure stupidity in a minute. Top bolt, which you can see just there, nice and easy now, because you have to take off the tensioner, which then also bolts through this bracket, and it all covers up. That's just stupid compared to the really good design of the back bolt. We're all done, so we've got the battery back on. The last thing we need to do is pull the pin. I can't do it one-handed. I can't do it one-handed. Can I put the camera there? Can you see? Oh, the camera's in the way now. Oh, you just need to move it out of the way. It's in the way now. It's the wrong way. I'll just get that, hit that there, and we can start this and see if it works. I've got the battery pack on. It's a bit dead because I had to use it to get the van on the lift, so it's 12.8 volts because of the battery pack. So let's just start it. And now let's see what happens. Battery pack is off. And boom, look at that, 14.3, smart charger, everything is working. There we go. Let's let this charge up, take it for a test drive. Right, you can see a good thing. Can you see it? Is it just reflecting? Bloody camera, why is it doing that now and it wasn't doing it when it was in here? 14.1, 14 volts now. So it's at 14 volts now, which is good because it means it's going down, which means it's charging, which means the smart system is charging. There's the brand new belt, brand new alternator, it's all good. And yeah, so as always, hope it helps. As you can see, anyway, before I say that, as you can see, very simple check, very easy. You can see, especially alternators. Now, it's not as simple when you start going into the smart charger. Well, it is and it isn't. You just need slightly different ways of doing it. But as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below. Don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted. This is the reason why we actually replaced the fan belt, even though it didn't look bad, but as you can see, when you actually turn it over, it's completely cracked everywhere, so that's not great. There's the old manky alternator full of oil, which again is not helping. We're going to have to figure out where the oil leak's coming from, because otherwise that's just going to make the new one go even quicker.